Hi, Landi, and welcome back to Entrepreneurcast. It's so great to see you again today.
Thank you, Svietlana. Always great to be on your show. How are you doing?
Fabulous. So,
Good.
Landi, what I would like to talk about today with you is positioning. And I
Right.
think
Yeah.
that's a great topic for a lot of entrepreneurs who struggle with positioning themselves in their field. So, how do we position ourselves with power? How do we
Right.
get ourselves out there and we feel all strong and powerful?
Right. So for those of you listeners listening today, we're talking about going to that boardroom and taking that room, right? And we're talking to walking at that event and walking out of so many leads, qualified leads that you don't know what to do with it. And we talk about being at a social event and people really want to listen to what you have to say. So many business owners and consultants are not taken serious by people in their target market. How many times have you seen this, Svetlana? Many times, right? So people literally go and they build this product, they build this service, they go and sell themselves, and they massively sell themselves short. They either have too low consulting fees, or what I hear a lot is, I'm shy, I don't want to brag about myself. And I don't want to get into my ego. And so none of what I'm talking about today is that. What I'm talking about today is about your positioning and the way that other people view you, the way other people view you as a professional, competent, and capable individual that can help them. So positioning really is about making sure that you've set the stage for success even before you started doing anything. So I'm going to give you an example of the theater. The theater for me is a very good example of what I mean. So let's imagine you have tickets to the theater, right? You cannot wait. You cannot wait to go to the theater. You're going to see this most amazing show. I remember when I watched The Phantom of the Opera on Broadway in New York. It was a fantastic experience. And I really looked forward to that experience. But can you imagine if the first time I heard about that show, someone says to me, "Oh, well, Landi, actually the show is on already. So it's that way, you need to enter that door." And as I'm rushed into the door, I'm forced to sit down and the curtains doesn't even open, it just starts. The experience is not nice. I've looked forward to this for such a long time. I wanted the anticipation. I bought the tickets. I wanted to think about my outfit. I wanted to decide who's going to go there as my date. And I maybe even thought about going for a nice glass of wine before the time. Or maybe I was going to have a nice cup of coffee, before I watch Phantom of the... All of that has been taken away from me. The curtains didn't even open. There was no anticipation. Now, this is how positioning works in our business. There's no build-up. There's no anticipation. There's no nice show that gets people excited and inform them. We just drag open the curtains and the show starts. And that's literally what we do with our businesses. And that's what we do when we're out there giving a sales presentation. We don't position ourselves correctly. We don't build anticipation. You've seen the amounts of money and time and effort that goes into a big event or sports event, or when the Olympics is going up. It's for this exact same reason. So if you want to position yourself and you want people to get to take you a little bit more serious, you'll have to start building anticipation.
It's funny. I have still the picture, the way you painted the picture of the theater. I'm
Yeah,
just thinking, I just want to go to the theater.
exactly. Svetlana, we make sales and introducing people to us and our product terribly boring. We make it terribly boring and we make it terribly average. If you're going to go and you're going to do a sales presentation to a bunch of people in a boardroom and you just pitch there, they're going to take the room. But if you actually go and you go an hour early and you set up the room and you make sure that you are properly lit and that there's a beautiful folder for every single person and that your book is placed down there on the table and that there's a special pen that you're going to be giving everyone, and you make sure your presentation runs well, and that you maybe go and shake the hands of one or two people, and you maybe got someone in their office to maybe introduce you before the show starts, you're creating anticipation. If you're going to be at an event and you just start, but you're the main attraction of the show, and you didn't have someone else introducing you, there's no pre-show. Why do you think some of these big rock bands have pre-shows? It's the build up to the main event. So if you have a problem with building yourself up or self-promoting yourself, which I completely understand, not cool, right? Get someone to promote you. Get someone to tell people about you. And if you absolutely have no one to do it for you, go and get a brilliant corporate video made that introduces you. So before you start your sales presentation to the boardroom members, or before you start your event or your breakfast, have a video that properly introduces you and tell people a little bit more about you. So you're setting the stage and you're setting it up for success. And that's one of the first ways that I would really encourage people to position themselves.
That's amazing. So have like a show reel which shows the whole thing about you.
Yeah, and that brings me to the next part is that, and people don't like this. If you're in the business of professional services, if you sell your professional services to people and you don't look professional, you are not positioning yourself correctly. Image consultants, because I work with so many consultants, I think image consultants is probably one of the most underestimated consultants out there. People work on their sales pitches and marketing plans, and it's all good. You need that. It's going to be important for your business. But you need to have a look at your image and how your image is positioning you. I'm not just talking about the way you dress. I'm talking about the way you show up online as well. The colors you use, the font you use, the message you bring out. You may have a YouTube channel that looks like an absolute disaster, The business card you're giving to people may look like cheap quality. So that all has to do with the way we position ourselves and position our business. And if that doesn't speak of high quality, high value, real difference, real competence, people don't know that. And there's no way they would know that unless you come up with a strategy or a positioning strategy to tell them what you're capable of.
When you started talking about the colors, I just remembered I knew this lady who was she positioned herself as a marketing expert, and she had specific colors that she used, and it was like kind of greenish turquoise glasses. And nails, and she was so consistent with that. And I remember I asked her about that, and she said, "Yes, it's my branding." So yeah, that's really powerful.
Svietlana, you've hit the nail on the head. The word here today for positioning is consistency. And I find this a lot in social media. People are really worried about what they should be posting on social media, and absolutely you should. The content that you post on your social media pages should be very relevant. If it's not relevant, then people don't really connect what you do with the value you can give to them. So you want the content on social media to be really partially content from other pages, and you want it partially content that you produce. But you want it to be consistent. You want those content, you want to show people consistently you're posting. How many of you have posted for a week and go, the strategy is not working, it doesn't work for me, and then you drop it? And the next week you're doing something different. And then you're for 2 weeks on holiday and you stop posting altogether. And then now you're posting this again. And as you start and drop everything, the message, the positioning message that you're sending out to people there is that I'm not consistent in what I'm doing, so I'm not going to be consistent in delivering results to you. So if you're listening to this and you want to try and create some consistency and you don't have a social media plan, for example, you're welcome to go to www.entertheloft.net, Skype me for the password, it's landi.jack, and you'll be able to enter the loft. I'm not going to ask for your email address, and you'll find some sample social media plans there that can help you with consistency. But absolutely, being consistent in your actions online, because they don't always see you offline, they always see you online. Your colors, your branding, your feel, doing things every day is very important. Very important for your positioning.
So I guess that kind of summarizes our message today. How about we go through the summary of today's message?
Absolutely. So if you want to position yourself, you may be doing a lot of things already right. You may have a massively great sales pitch. Your business, may have a great marketing plan. Your mindset is great, but people just don't take you seriously. They don't believe in what you're doing. This may show up in symptoms like low consulting fees, leads not really interested in talking to you, people not coming back wow or interested, whatever means there may be a big problem with your positioning and the way you put yourself out there. So 3 ways to position yourself really more efficiently and quickly is to really pre-plan, have a pre-show to your sales. And some examples of that would be either a corporate video that introduce you or other people that introduce you, and things that is a little bit of a build up to the main show, which would be you and the absolute crazy cool offer that you have to give to people. So that would be number one. Number two, I would really, really look into, getting mentors, getting coaches around a brand, around the way I show up, the way I dress, the way other people perceive me, because you want it to be consistent and you want it to be good. And then lastly, I'll say to people, have a look at your authority. People don't know about your qualifications. They don't know about how good you are. So what are you putting out there that gives you authority? Is it your 3 degrees? Is it your book that you've written? Is it your year's experience? And if you have that, maybe go and put it into a skills profile. Maybe go and look at your LinkedIn profile and have a critical look at it. Say to yourself, if I land on this person's LinkedIn profile, would I absolutely be sure that this person knows what they're talking about? What's the proof on there, right? What gives me that authority in my positioning strategy? And that should really get people to maybe raise that eyebrow, and take you that quite a little bit more serious. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for today, Landi. It's been great to see you as always, and I really look forward to the next week.
You too, Svietlana. Talk to you soon, and thank you for your time. Goodbye, listeners.